Hello, my dears, and welcome to my channel. As always, I am very happy and grateful that you've chose to spend your time with me and supporting my channel. Really easy. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the notification bell of when you'd like to be notified of when I drop a new video. And I hope that things are doing well for you all, but if not, I do hope things will get better for you soon. But if you want to forget about things for just a little while, join me in meeting Toro del Toro tarot deck. And this was created by Tomas, Hijo, and published by Inside Editions. It was released in 2020, and at that time it retailed for $29.99. And Tomas has done a few other decks with Inside Edition. He has completed the Lord of the Rings Tarot, House of the Dragon Tarot, the Dark Crystal Tarot, and the Labyrinth Tarot. And I've done a video on House of the Dragon and the Dark Crystal. And I think I started a playlist for Inside Editions. If you want to check those out, I do have the Labyrinth and the Lord of the Rings Tarot. And eventually I will do a video on those. I'm thinking of doing the Lord of the Rings Tarot on Tolkien's birthday, but we will see what happens. Alright, so the deck specs are 6¼ height, across is 3½ the width is 1¾ across. It does have the thumb indents, and it does have the title on the top, which I'm excited about. I love it when they put it on the top. And then we have inspired and supervised by Guillermo del Toro, and it just has that on the bottom. And it was designed and carved by Tomas Hijo. I think I said that right. I do apologize if I'm not saying his name right. And on the back it says, discover the hidden messages of tarot with this original deck inspired by the wondrous world of Guillermo del Toro. This deck, created under supervision of the master filmmaker and designed and illustrated by Tomas Hijo, features sumptuous original artwork inspired by the themes, imagery, and characters of some of Del Toro's most popular film, including Pan's Labyrinth, Crimson Peak, and The Shape of Water. And there's a foreword by Guillermo, and then you have some teaser cards. Okay, when we open it up, we get a little bit of artwork on the inside of the card, and then we have this cute little character. I can't remember where he's from. I think it looks more like mugwort. But it does come with a guidebook, and we will explore that. And then you have a little title card, the little vegetable guy, and on the back, as you can see, reversals will be revealed. And then it has this ribbon to pull all the cards out. The insert is removable, and it has the back, so just in case you don't want the insert anymore, you can, or it gets damaged beyond repair, you can remove it and take it out, and no problem with that. Okay, so the cards are a little bit bigger than the regular tarot cards. As you can see, a little bit bigger. And the card specs are 5 inches height, across is 2.75, and the width is 1¼ Okay, and in my tarot videos, I do a side-by-side comparison, and I will point out the characters and the movies they're from. There are some that are just inspired characters, but if there is a character that is listed in the guidebook, I have written it out because there's no way I could remember all these characters. The one thing I am two things I'm disappointed about with this deck. It is a pip deck. Besides the court cards and the major arcana, it's a pip deck. And not enough usage of characters. Guillermo has done so many movies, and he could have had so much material to work with. So that's the one thing I have against pip decks is it's just a missed opportunity to have a really good deck. But anyway, enough of my rant. Okay, so we have so the Fool is the fawn from Pan's Labyrinth. Magician is Guillermo himself. The High Priestess is Nuala from Hellboy 2. Nuala? I cannot remember how to say her name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. And the Empress is Carmen from Pan's Labyrinth. The Emperor is Baylor from Hellboy 2. The Hierophant is the Supreme Vampire from The Strain. That was an interesting series. It really was. I did enjoy it though. It was different vampire take. Then we have the Lovers. We have from The Shape of Water, those two characters. The Chariot is the Cart Troll in Hellboy 2. And I forgot to switch these. So this has been switched. So basically pre-Rider-Waite deck, they did the Justice and the Strength card differently for the astrological reasons. So they would line up with certain signs. And so this deck follows it. Normally Justice is the 11th card, but in this deck it is the card 8. And it's not going to mess up your reading at all. Yeah, it's different. When Rider-Waite did their decks, they changed it. And you could probably Google it and just do Golden Dawn, Toro, Rider-Waite, and it should come up with the explanation. And in the Justice card, it is the ghost of Edith's mother from Crimson Peak. And then the Hermit is the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth. The Wheel of Fortune is the Watermill from Pan's Labyrinth. And then we have Strength, and that is Mr. Wink from Hellboy 2. The Hanged Man is basically a fetus from the Devil's Backbone. And Death, we have the Angel of Death from Hellboy 2. And Temperance is Edith Cushing from Crimson Peak. And the Devil is, of course, Hellboy. They did not give a description of the tower, so I am not sure where this came from. what movie it came from or TV show. The star is Ophelia from Pan's Labyrinth. Then we have the moon. The sun is Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. And I like that movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it. It was just one of those types of movies where you could just turn your brain off and just have some fun. We have The Judgment, which is the orphanage yard in The Devil's Backbone. And the world is a mimic. Okay. I'm not sure if that was a show mimic, because I am drawing a blank about where that came from. Okay, let me get these cards back in order. Okay. Alright, so go into the suits. And we will start with the wands. Okay. And if you're new to pip decks and you don't know what a pip deck is, it is basically minimal illustrations, and as you can see, 2 of wands. It has 2 of whatever the illustrator wants to use wands to illustrate. And then you go on to 3 of wands, same thing. The only really good thing that I can suggest if you do get a pip deck by mistake, or if you did get one, you really liked the Major Arcana and the court cards, and you're willing to overlook that it is a pip deck, it is a good opportunity to learn about numerology. And numerology, I think, should be something that you learn when you are learning the tarot deck, because the minor arcana, the numbers all mean something. Like all of the aces mean beginnings, opportunities, startings. It's the Fool card basically at a lesser degree. And then you have the different suits. So you have the Pentacles, it's a beginning, opportunity for a job. It's a, a loan, or, the Cups focus on emotions. It's the beginning of a relationship, Swords is a thought. A thought may pop into your head. And then we'll go on to, so the court cards, pages are valets, valet, and they are represented by discs, which are pentacles. Then we have the Knights of Wands, which, I'm sorry. This is a crow guard from Hellboy 2. Sorry, I didn't. Okay, then we have the Knights. And this one is a character from Pan's Labyrinth, and the creator has made the court cards associated with the blades, which are swords, for whatever reason. And then we have the queens, which they didn't rename. They only renamed the pages for some reason. And then this character is basically a fairy princess from Pan's Labyrinth. She didn't get a name or anything. And the kings are, the queens are represented by cups. I know it's a little confusing, but I'm just telling you how he designed the deck. So queens are the characteristics of the cups: emotional, psychic, And then we have the kings, which are represented by wands, even though this is a wand, and this is the king of the underworld in Pan's Labyrinth. So I hope that makes sense. So basically all of the kings in the courtyards are represented by wands. Their characteristics, that's a better way to put it. The same characteristics as the wands are: passion, mastery, so on and so forth. And then the queens are represented by the energy. There you go. That's a better word. The energy of the cups or goblets in this deck. And they've renamed it the cups goblets. And then the knights represent the sword or blade energy. And then the valets, which are the pages, represent the pentacles or discs. All right. I hope that makes more sense. Yeah, when I started reading it, when I was reading the guidebook, I was like, what? Okay, so next we have the goblets, which represent cups. Okay, now we go on to the court cards, and then we have the valet, also page of goblets, which is a vampire from the strain. The knights is the corpse from Hellboy 2, I think it was. It was the I think it was the corpse that that Hellboy carried around. And the queen is also another vampire from the strain. And for the king, we have another vampire from the strain. Then we move on to the blades, also known as the swords. imports with the Valet. And this is Mercedes from Pan's Labyrinth. Next we have Karl Ruprecht. I can't even pronounce his last name. He's the guy out of Hellboy 2. The Nazi general, I believe he was. We have Queen, which is a character from The Strain. And the King is a character from Hellboy 2. So yeah, I'm disappointed in this deck. But I would never say not buy it, because just because I'm not particularly crazy about a deck, I would never tell you not to buy it, because it could appeal to you and you may like it. It may be a collectible for you. Okay, so last we have the discs, which also known as the pentacles. But at least you know it's a pip deck. And so there won't be any surprises, so you know whether to either get it or avoid it. It's totally up to you. It's your money, your hard-earned money. Okay, then we have the Valet, and this one is Cherno Alpha from Pacific Rim. And the Knight is another Jagger, Striker Eureka from Pacific Rim. Then we have the Queen, which is a Judas breed roach from Mimic. And we have a Golden Army soldier from Hellboy 2. Okay, that is the deck. So cardstock. I will say one thing for Inside Edition, they do put out pretty good cardstock quality. I've not had a deck so far that has had poor quality for their cardstock. It's very flexy bendy, but it is thick, so it'll last you a while. Okay, so let's look at the guidebook. Okay. So we have a little introduction from the fall. And we have another illustration. Then we have our content page. Then we have a foreword from Guillermo, oh my goodness, Guillermo del Toro. And I will let you read that at your leisure. And he's just talking about tarot and how he was introduced to it. And then we have an introduction from Tomas. And basically he talks about how he met with Guillermo. Oh my god. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time pronouncing his name. And then he just talked about creating the deck and hopefully what will be the outcome of it and what he wanted to interject in it. And then we go into what is tarot, basically a background on the tarot. And then we have the major arcana section. And then we get a picture. And then we get basically the background and the meaning. And then we get a quote right here. There are no reversal meanings. And he does talk about the character. And that's basically it for the major arcana. And then we go into the minor arcana. And basically just goes on to tell you about the minor arcana. And then he goes into the suits and the courtly figures. And in here he explains what I touched on. And he says the king cards and the suit of wands are both ruled by the element of fire. They are energetic and transformative. Wands, also called clubs, batons, stoves, or rods, are incarnations of the magic wand of fairy tales. Hermes, Caduceus, and the Mandrake. I'm sorry I butchered that. So that's what he's talking about when he's pairing them off. And then he goes on to the King of Wands is double, fiery, authoritarian, and powerful. And just basically goes on to explaining the different suit combination. If you want to use them, you don't have to use them, but it's just a little something different that you can do. Okay, and then he goes and he puts the court cards first, and then we just basically have a picture and just a little bit of meaning, and then talks about the character. Yeah, the minor arcana is very short. There's more picture than there is meaning, and I wish he would have just put more of the meaning than a picture. That would have been nice, but that's how he chose to do it. And then we have numerology, and this is what I was talking about. Basically, it's good to learn numerology with tarot, and this gives you a little bit of an introduction, and gives you some examples of some of the cards for the nines, like the Ace of Goblets, incubation of new feelings, or a real pregnancy. That's just some examples of that. And then we go into readings, which are spreads as well. Then we go Don Miguel's cross method. And because the minor arcanas are pip decks, there's no, the only thing you get is the numerology section. There's no meanings for the minor arcana. And then we go into a 3 real reading card. Yeah, so you have a first reading, then you have second reading, and this is just an example. Basically, he gives you the card and then gives you like an example of the meaning of it. And then you have a third reading. It says this reading is an example of how this spread can function using the full deck. So, yeah, there's so you start off with the cross method, and it has the different cards that you put down, and then he goes on to give you examples of real readings. And so it's you only get one spread is what I'm trying to say. And then he gives you the examples. That's a little confusing. I do apologize about that. And then we have a final word. And then we have some little biographies about the two of them. Okay. All right, so let's do some shuffling. And shuffling should be good because they are bendy. The shuffling should be very smooth. You can do the poker rapid thing, or you can do the overhand. You can cut them. And just pick them up like that. You can do, there's no right or wrong way to do shuffling. It's just, it's a personal experience, and you can do side shuffle. Really, really want to. I don't think I would with these because they're not wide enough. Or you could do the fan. You do fan. Not gracefully, but you can still do a fan. I'm sure there are other people who do fans wonderfully, but I am not one of those. Or you could just spread it all over the table and pick them up one by one for whatever spread you want to do. Okay, let's see what card has a message for us. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, let's see what's in the card book. Okay. The image of fortune as a wheel dragging people through cycles of uneven luck is an ancient and powerful symbol, but it is more than luck. It is also the wheel of birth and death, of reincarnation, and the great cosmic cycle. Toro del Toro illustrates the Wheel of Fortune as the watermill from Pan's Labyrinth. The mill adds a layer of meaning to the wheel symbol. There is an ultimate purpose. Just as the mill transforms grain into flour, the cosmic wheel regenerates channels and harmonizes the energy of the universe. As in other tarot decks, there are 3 figures stretched out on the wheel. One figure ascends with one hand raised upward. On the opposite side of the wheel, another figure descends, ready to dive into the river of blood beneath the wheel. At the top of the wheel, the third figure seems to be crowned with laurel leaves, a symbol of triumph, and holds a sickle, as if to harvest the fruits of the earth. But let's not fool ourselves. The 3 characters are one and the same, neither men nor women, neither young nor old, with no identity, no race, no defined features, imprisoned in an infinite cycle of creation and destruction, of triumph and defeat, of splendor and misfortune. The wheel of fortune is instability, unpredictability, and lack of control. Viewed more positively, it implies new opportunities. On the negative side, it implies shock and anxiety. It can speak of a certain chaos in the environment when it appears with the world, even of particular crisis when it accompanies by the emperor, political issues, the empress family, or justice law. If this card appears under the Tower, we may be facing a radical rearrangement of the status quo. With the Lovers, emotional tensions are rising, and next to the card, Death, with any doubt, the Wheel of Fortune is coming to an end of a cycle. The Wheel of Fortune does not change if it appears inverted, because the direction of its turn remains unchanged in any position. And then you get a little quote at the end of the page. Okay, so that is pretty much all I have for this deck. Let me know what you think of it. And since it has been out for a little while, there are some out there that may own it. Let me know how it's working out for you, or if you have any recommendations for anybody, or if you have any pros or cons about it. And if you did buy it after seeing the video, or you decided to pass on it, you can leave a comment, in the comment section, just if you want to express yourself. Feel free. I welcome any kind of comment, good or bad, as long as it's nice and not attacking anybody. But once again, thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I hope that you will join me with another video. But until next time, take care and goodbye, my dears.